Perfect question about misconceptions in health IT about healthcare and perhaps vice versa as well. Yeah, this is a big problem because, especially with the government having handed out almost billions of dollars in incentive money for meaningful use, it turns out that people are going to start thinking that the technology itself is going to help improve healthcare outcomes, quality, etc. And of course, we know that computers do not care for people, people care for people. So when you look at the problems in health IT and more generally in healthcare, what we realize is that there are ways that we care for people that are ingrained over hundreds and hundreds of years because we've been taking care of people for hundreds and thousands of years, more formally in the past several hundred years in more scientific ways than in the past. But really what happens is that the biggest misconception, I would say, is that somehow physicians or the healthcare community doesn't understand technology, or they don't like technology just because they don't use software component A, B, or C. So for example, in the case of electronic health records, the first electronic health record came out in the early 70s. When initially computers came out, one of the first uses of them was to manage people's medical records. They've been around forever. Why has the uptake been so low? Well, it's been primarily low because we on the healthcare IT side, and I blame the geeks and us on this side, where we don't really take into account how the healthcare world works in specific workflow settings, specific clinical settings. And what we try to do is to generalize and say, if I got one doctor's office to do something this way, then it must mean all doctor's offices must do that same thing the same way. And that's not true. Almost every clinical setting that you go into is going to have some variation. It's going to have some peculiarity. Specialties, for example, primary care versus gastroenterology, they're not the same thing. If you're doing dermatology versus heart surgeries, of course, they're going to be different things. So scheduling of appointments, the bringing of a patient into a workflow, whether it's at a hospital or a clinic, the transfer of lab data, these all think like they're generalized. They sound generalized, but they're really not. They're very specialized activities. So the biggest misconception is that technology, the insertion of an electronic health record, will improve things by itself. It will not. There are many, many things that are ingrained in our healthcare system, which either the technology must adapt to our settings, or the healthcare workflows must adapt to the technology. And really, the things that I like to say often is that healthcare and the industry at large is not afraid of technology. They want technology to be valuable to them. So in that case, they're absolutely, for example, when you look at computers in general are in heavy use. When pagers first came out, who first used them? When the iPhone first came out, who used it? So when you look at it, the misconception of, healthcare people just don't understand technology is not quite there. We on the IT side have to make things more usable, more useful, more friendly, more applicable, more valuable to those settings. And if we do that, then those problems will go away. So great question about misconceptions. And if we understand these misconceptions, we'll build better systems and get them integrated more properly.